It does not seem like a state of mind. It does not seem like a production of your imagination. It seems like a place. I mean, every preceptor in your body is telling you, you are somewhere. This is not an experience happening in your mind. You are somewhere. The argument for that is that as you search yourself, you discover that you haven't changed. You're who you were before you smoked the DMT. The problem is the world has been completely replaced by something previously inconceivable and totally unimaginable. No artist, no culture, no civilization produced art or images or literature or poetry which even hinted at this place. This is not the realm of the Jungian archetypes. This is some other domain. And what it is it's a room, a domed space, light indirectly lit. You can't tell where the light is coming from, but there seems to be no point source. And you know, in some intuitive and translogical sense, you know that you're far underground. You know that a massive amount of weight is above this space, even though it's spacious. And the walls of this domed room are crawling with geometric hallucinations. But none of this is what seizes your attention immediately. What seizes your attention is that this place is filled with entities, with the famous self-transforming machine elves of hyperspace. These things which look like jeweled, self-dribbling basketballs. These self-propelled, autonomous complexes of light and faceted color that come bounding up to you and then hesitate and then jump into your body and jump out or crawl all over you. And you have to understand, this is 30 seconds deep into this experience. You were with your ratty friends somewhere using drugs, and now that's all gone. And you're in this place. And the usual, I mean, I react to it like, and I'm like, oh, God. Yes, breathing, yes, pulse, yes, almost, breathe. And these things are saying, they're dancing around in front of you and they're saying, do not abandon yourself to amazement. Do not give in to wonder, which is an almost impossible piece of advice because you're going through all kinds of changes. First of all, the question, this couldn't happen unless I was dead. You just say, this is too far out. You don't go to this place and come back. So you're dealing with that, am I all right? And after about 15, 20 seconds, you manage to convince yourself, I'm okay, I'm all right. Meanwhile, these things are going through these transformations, geometric, mathematical transformations, and they sing. They sing. And they sing objects into existence. Objects which are like made of what looks like gold, ivory, chalcedony, smaragdine, jasper, silver, diamond, but not stable objects, not objects which hold a single complex form, but objects which are constantly morphing and changing. These things are like jewels or toys or scientific instruments or something. And these things are literally dancing in your face and saying, look at this, look at this. And they're pulling each other away, one pulling another away and saying, not him, me, look at this, look at this. And as you direct your attention into these things, you have the overwhelming impression, incontrovertible impression, this is impossible. This is impossible. If I could bring one of these objects back to my world, just one, all you would have to do is show it to people, and you wouldn't have to say a word. They would know that time and space, reality and matter, spirit and energy had all been transcended into some translinguistic domain where mind and imagination are able to fabricate themselves instantly into objects. And they're doing this with language, these creatures. And what they are saying is, do this. Don't be amazed. Quench your astonishment. Do what we are doing. Do it, and do it now. And it's like you can't conceive of it. I mean, you just stammer, basically. But then there is a kind of, and now I'm speaking from my own experience, a kind of bubble in your stomach, a kind of heat, a kind of light, chakric maybe, who knows, why bother? Anyway, it's there, and it begins to move up your body. It doesn't feel like it moves up your spine. It feels to me like it moves up your esophagus. And when it gets to your mouth opens, and this linguistic activity pours out of you, a glossolalia of some sort that is spontaneous, not under the control of the ego, and that which causes objects to begin to condense out of the air like tears of mercury, like drops of ruby. And as you experiment with it, you realize, I'm doing this. My voice is making things come into existence. And these little elf machines are just hysterical with delight. I mean, they literally turn handsprings and somersaults at this point. And you're there going, ni di jing wow wow siki pi pi ni jing wa pi ni fi ka pi hiki ni de jing wa wa ka ti bu ki ti ki ni and this is colors, light, faceted, metallic, crystalline, silken, watery, gelatinous stuff pouring into space and contorting itself around you. And just as you're beginning to come to terms with this, the entire state folds up on itself like a paper box folding up on itself, and it's as though it telescopes away from you. It retreats, and I've even had trips where the elf machines turn and say, "Deja vu, deja vu." A bizarre farewell, I maintain. And then you're back with your grimy friends in that room, and you open your eyes, and you are about as high as 1,000 mics of acid would put you, but you proclaim immediately and with great conviction, "I'm down, I'm back." I mean, the fact that your friends all look like praying mantises is a minor detail at that point, because where you've been was so much more peculiar than where you are that you're willing to embrace it as totally ordinary reality. Just, triangular faces, compound eyes, we can relate to this. And then within 5 to 10 minutes, you completely return to the baseline of consciousness. So completely that you cannot tell that you've taken a substance. You can search into your body. No headache, no tiredness, no stimulation, no excitement. You are 100% back to where you were before you started. Now that's an extraordinary argument for the non-toxicity of DMT. Let's talk pharmacology for a minute. The way you evaluate the toxic nature of a substance is to ask yourself the question, how long can I feel it? If you take a drug, we don't even have to name the drug. If you take a drug and 36 hours later, you're still refusing phone calls and lying around in warm baths and scheduling massages, then you took a drug that was toxic. Your body didn't know what to do with it. And it took it a long time to get together a strategy for shunting it to the urinary tract or wherever it's going. A DMT is like hurling an ice cube into a blast furnace. It barely has a chance to exist before the body says, oh, I know, I recognize this. I can deanimate this. I can dealkylate this. I can shunt this to the urine. No problem. That is a sign that this stuff is completely benign. So is the fact that it occurs ordinarily in human metabolism. Every single one of us has DMT in our brains right now as we speak. You might note that this is the ultimate catch-22 in terms of if they ever want to take us all in. You know, they don't have to throw pot around in your apartment. Your head makes you guilty. You have a Schedule I substance in your brain. This was not